Hey, how's it going? I'm sommelier Leslie Miller with AmuseWine.com. 2 E's, folks, and you know how those 2 E's roll out. Tonight, I am doing, I think, the unthinkable. I am reviewing a wine that I didn't ever really think that I'd be throwing up on my website. Opus One, baby. Opus One. You know Opus One, and you certainly know the image of that label. Opus One is one of those wines that people either really love or they really dog out. And sometimes this wine gets a lot of flack, the winery overall. Of course, it is a great venture between the late and great Mr. Robert Mondavi and his friend, the Baron Philippe Rothschild. Now, the Rothschilds and the Mondavis are still a big part of this project and are still making some great wine. But I have to say, I'm that girl that always talks to you about buck for buck wines, right? Is this a buck for buck wine? That's what we're here to talk about tonight. And let me just get into briefly as to why we're actually even talking about a wine this spendy tonight. So this, a 2001 vintage, is a wine that I actually purchased the first time that I visited Opus One in 2003. I was there because I was working in the Napa Valley and I thought, oh my gosh, I get to go to Opus One. So when you approach, it's like no other feeling, right? You get to walk in, I got a great VIP tour, I had barrel tasting, I had the kind of whole shoot and match. And I thought at the time that I would buy these wines at 175 bones a bottle because I would use the wines as a collectible at some point in time, meaning that I would sell them off and use them as kind of a little bit of an investment. So the 2001, if you go back to this vintage, is one of those vintages that people say that they had a lot of small berry fruit in the Napa Valley. A lot of small berry fruit, which leads into a very kind of condensed juice bomb, really, in that small berry. At the same time, a long growing, even growing season, so they get that nice long kind of sun that led into almost like an Indian summer. So you have a fruit that has a lot of kind of flavor to it, condensed. I don't want to say raisinated, but does have kind of those flavors of something that's a little bit more juicy and has some depth to it. Now when we look at Opus One, you think about these two big figureheads coming together to make an old world and new world wine in the mouthfeel from a new world wine category. Napa gets toasty, roasty in the summertime. And with that said, you're going to get some fruit that does have kind of a hedonistic, almost chocolatey appeal to it. Let's check it out. Ooh, definitely in the nose. Kind of a dark, deep, condensed blackberry cherry, almost Marion pie. It's like taking your fruit and boiling it down on the stove, like you're gonna stick it into like a big pie. At the same time, it's also very chocolatey. You know, like chocolate silk pie? Love that stuff. Has a nice silky approach to the nose. Kind of minty, eucalyptusy. On the mouth, still very juicy and jammy, but at the same time there's a nice spike of that little eucalyptusy minty approach to it. But now the chocolate has turned into like a Dutch baking cocoa. You know, the kind like you use in your cookies during kind of the Christmas season. It has kind of that nice little sparky side where it keeps the tannins a little firm and a little silky, but at the same time it's still pretty nice and dry in the mouth. I will tell you that this wine has been decanted, and it was decanted almost 4.5 hours ago. So you're looking at a wine that had a little bit of oxygen to it, but I could safely say it could use a little bit more. And I don't think that this wine is actually peaked yet. I wouldn't say, even though it's 9 years old, that's one of those wines that is let's drink now today. I think it still has a little bit of time on it. And I will tell you, the 2001, so when I bought it, 175 bones for the bottle. Today, the bottle is valued anywhere between $250 and $325 a bottle. Like I said, an investment, right? And especially when it's kept at a proper cellar temp, proper humidity, and by someone that you actually trust. These might be some wines that you could look at on the internet for purchasing for yourself, for family members, special gifts, what have you. But again, I'm kind of a dirty girl. I like the old world dirty wines that give me kind of grit, grime, and a little bit of soot when I really sink my teeth into them. I like something that kind of gives more of the personality behind the soil versus what's topically right off the top of its bush. I like that kind of dark and dirty kind of feeling to Old World Cabernet. And sometimes when you are drinking Old World Cabernet, you get a little bit more of that poopier smell on the nose, which I absolutely love. This doesn't really have any of that Old World nose at all. In fact, if anything, it does have like just a fat nose in it all the way through its body. But what I do like is that it doesn't have an over-concentrated appeal of oak or even that coconut suntan oil kind of approach to it. I like it because it's nice and smooth. So again, 2001 Opus 1 tonight we are reviewing, and $250 to $325 for this bottle. I don't know, I guess that's for you to decide. Would you pay it? How much do you want Opus 1? Again, you're either a lover or you're a hater of this wine. Some people say they never pick it up. I say you have to actually drink everything that's out there. And cheers to drinking more wine at the end of the day, right folks? Hey, thanks for joining us tonight on AmuseWine.com, and check out the crush pad at AmuseWine.com for more wine reviews, great pairing tips, and also more wine tidbits. As for now, I think I'm actually headed into the kitchen for a little blue cheese and a little dark chocolate. I'm going to mush that baby together and have me some Opus 1. Thanks for joining, and we'll talk to you soon.